Welcome everyone. I am Mr. Goldenbaum, and this is Supremacy 1914. Boy, have the tides turned on the Mexican coalition. We went from a small, sprawling state in Oklahoma, marching our way through Texas to secure some key regions and areas, mainly the Double Fish province. We were attacked. Well, first we had one of our provinces stolen, the iron, which I was not happy about. And then we had to deal with a surprise attack by the northeastern Mexican state, which at this point they've been gone for a while. I don't even remember the name. Beat them. Then we had to deal with West Mexico and Chihuahua. My wife will still not live that one down. We had the temporary peace agreement with the state of Chihuahua. As you can see up here, they're losing, and they're losing badly, to I believe it's Northern California. Yes, Northern California. Looks like Northern California is marching through the western side here of this Mexican peninsula. It appears that the remaining Chihuahuan forces are actually retreating to the south, potentially for a final last stand. I can't recall if there was a fortification there. This one infantry unit, actually, we were able to spawn off of the double grain before we had lost the province. Oh, I do not want that. Let me turn that off. Before we lost this province, and we were able to take them out to sea. And now that we actually have a unit out here on the western coast, we will be using them to spy on, or at least give us some additional view range over this primary crossing. As you can see here, California, they've only got one way into the state of Chihuahua. We know they're at war with them. They are doing very well. If I flip over to the newspaper, Northern California. North California? North California, there we go. And they've already taken out 50,000 troops at the cost of only 10. I don't think that Chihuahua has long on this playthrough. Chihuahua doesn't have long left in this match. They've lost 126,000 troops. We know they have 20,000 troops available that we're able to see. Maybe they have another 20, 40,000 on the west coast, but that isn't enough for a player that's only lost 45,000 troops through the playthrough. We've taken out almost double what they have. Again, we had a few blunders here earlier on. Just to transition back to our situation over here, after our reinforcements were able to arrive with additional cavalry units, we have 9,000 on the field here. If we only include the ones that are on the front line, we have 7. And these additional troops, when they came in, they were able to start destroying stacks of West Mexico troops. At this stage, he was kind of spread out everywhere. We caused so much panic with Orhan, with the masterclass squid video here. Orhan was able to take every single one of these provinces. So that's, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He sacked the capital for 9. He took this 10, 11. I don't believe we took this. And actually, if we just flip the filter here for the province morale, I don't believe we hit these provinces. I think we might have just gone for these two, and then we kind of took them north to assist our primary army here. By capturing the province, we were able to speed up our troop movement speed. On this assault, try to take as many provinces. As you can see here, we have 6 stacks of 6,000 everywhere. Usually it's between 5 to 6 to make sure you don't suffer any losses from a potential revolt, just making sure everything is suppressed. Now that the day tick has gone through, we'll be able to start consolidating a lot of our forces. We want to clean this up by the next day tick, making sure that South Mexico, which is still trying to clean up some of these other AI nations, isn't able to kind of steal some of our territories. They have already acquired one through a revolt. And as we can see, Chihuahua has also acquired 3 plus 2 of our in 2 provinces from our initial conquest. They're in a rough situation. It looks like he actually is starting to consolidate some of his troops, but I don't know what's going on here. Why would you be moving south? I have not given him right of way. He still has troops on the border here. He's not moving there. He's moving... He may be trying to scout me out, which is fine. I guess I understand his concern. The time is not right to strike, and I want to keep this peace for as long as I can. But if he falls, if this province right here falls and he's not able to stop the tide, I will not allow California to secure this double oil province, one of the few in the region. You have one more in Arizona, which will fall to, and we can jump back at Utah. They'll have 2, but I will not let this province fall to California. Oil is way too valuable. Any kind of production we do at this stage, when you look at tanks, heavy tanks, railroad guns, we've only been able to accrue 5 railroad guns worth of oil. If we look at air, it's this very similar for bombers, double it for fighters. I would like to keep California starved out from oil for as long as possible. Without it, I'm not sure what kind of threat they'll be able to pose. I mean, if we look at their provinces, yes, they have the 2 double grains, and they looks like they do have a few single provinces. So it's not like they won't be able to expand. But given this shortage, that's going to put them on a collision course with Utah. And I like keeping Utah here as a buffer state. They're able to kind of keep South Dakota here in check. South Dakota having the largest army in the game. Why? I don't know. For all we know, they could have barracks in every single province. They could have a level 10, 15 Fiona just constantly cranking out troops here with their additional grain, especially after they finish their conquest of Nebraska. As you can see here, this has kind of been a stalemate situation. The key provinces in this region are the 2 double fish and the double coal. Our production of food is struggling. It looks like with the latest day tick and it looks like we must have just captured. Yes, we just captured the double grain province. That has given us a significant boost to grain. I just kind of want to balance this out here. I don't want to accidentally run a shortage and then see that our consumption needs are not met at 100%. But it looks like we're all set on that end. Materials have been going very well. We really haven't had a shortage in iron and lumber, and there's no shortage of production buildings that we'll be able to continue building. We'll talk more about factories, continuing to churn out more railroads, harbors for a few of our provinces on the coast. These will continue to boost our production, not just of iron and lumber, but much needed fish, and then potentially some other double resources as well. In the energy front, we are doing pretty well. It appears that we acquired a lot of natural gas, so I'm actually going to change the slider back. We might have had it open for a little bit just to kind of stockpile a bit for our airports, which I believe require at least 1,000 to 2,000 gas that we potentially like to do on day 8, and for balloon production. So now that I think about it, I'm fine with going for the coal. We have an order out in the market to purchase 20,000 additional coal. We put it at the 1.2 price. Gas and coal are pretty interchangeable to me, and coal is cheaper, so I will take it. I can produce my own gas, and then again, oil is a lot more expensive. I have that slider down to the minimum, so we can start accruing as much as we can in the early stages, so we have it for the mid and late game. Now, we have Orhan. First thing I'm going to do is take Orhan here, split him off from the primary force here that was used to suppress the revolt in this area. We will be reinforcing the 5,000 here. I want to suppress the revolt, but these troops do not have to remain on the border. I want to ease tensions here with Chihuahua as best as I can while maintaining these double provinces. In fact, I am actually going to send 6,000 there, as I do not want to lose it. And then we will take these guys and move over here into the south. I'm actually going to take this additional 6,000 troops and move them straight for the grain as well. They should be able to get there before the next day change, especially after Lawrence's army acquires this province, and then all of this travel distance will be cut significantly. I believe by 2/3 with how the movement penalties work. But Lawrence is going to take this province, and then we will finally mop up Joffrey. I may just split him off and send 6,000 additional troops to capture the coal. I want this to be done as quick as possible. Looking in this area, we don't have to station our troops here anymore. I will keep this army here. I want this double coal. All of these troops over here are no longer necessary, so what we will do is bring them over here into the south to reinforce Hank's army, which will most likely be our spearhead into South Mexico, coupled with Lawrence. I don't believe we'll really need a hero for Chihuahua. I think this guy's struggling. His morale is still holding strong. He put up a valiant effort. He's using additional resources to spawn troops with his Fiona. This little circle here indicates Fiona. I believe she's the only hero at this stage that can actually spawn units like this, and the fact that it's about 3/4 of the way done at 50 minutes, I mean, that's about 3 to 4 hours. So I mean, that looks like Fiona for me. And if you look at her, she does require fish and food. And when I look at this guy's resources, his core territories have 1 grain. He's got another one here where the morale has been rising a little bit. Looks like 1 more here on the border, which he may lose. He does have a lot of food provinces here, but California's going to take it, and he really doesn't have any double provinces. So he's in a bad situation. I think this is kind of his last hurrah. We'll give him the opportunity here to see if he can stop California, but I mean, at this stage, sorry, dude, but I think you've suffered way too many casualties. Unfortunately, you were bogged down in the war that northeast Mexico here started, and I have to go somewhere, and I am not going to let some of these key strategic resources fall and expose my border here, because as you can take a look, everything goes through these 2 provinces here, and I would not want another nation that's potentially going to be a threat right on my border here, which is why we actually took the oil from Missouri when he was going after the AI. I did not want him exposing both of my double production provinces. This one in the north here is pretty secure, but I didn't want to build additional fortifications here. I wanted to build production, so we did create this little bit of a buffer zone. We were able to spawn Tatiana, which is great. So let's actually go ahead and send some troops to suppress a revolt, and then we're just going to bring her up as close as we need to start firing. 3,000 troops don't really pose much of a threat, especially if we're able to snipe one of these before they arrive, maybe 2 of them. And then if these forces here in the north try to reinforce, I mean, they're just not much of a threat. She's already taken out maybe 30,000. All right, so she took out 40,000, and we lost 2,000 troops at some point when some of their stacks were coming out. What's nice about Tatiana is even if she doesn't do the damage that we might potentially need to eliminate an entire garrison, at least in terms of the AI, it triggers them to attack us, and I will take that defensive fight, especially if I have more morale, since these troops came from our core territory, whereas the AI is struggling, and we're able to kind of roll right through them at a very rapid pace, opposed to manually trying to break through a lot of these forts and capture these territories. Actually, what we're going to do is we're going to keep these forces together, and I will split these forces off, send out another 6,000 to capture Washburn, and then keep some of our forces in Silverton. You know, this is it looks like one of the provinces we captured had a barracks. So what I'm actually going to do is go through the province administration, and I will sort by the barracks. This seems a little small. Is this new? I feel like this is new, but I do like it. And it looks like we only have the 2 of them with the barracks. Now that this is done, I am actually going to turn off, or I should say our cavalry production is gone, has been completed. So I'm going to turn that off, and I will also disable the second one now that we're going to be transitioning to more of a mechanized force focus. So the cavalry was nice in the early game. We've been able to churn out maybe about 10,000, and we will use them to spearhead a lot of our offensives into the south. But at this stage, grain is very difficult to come by for us. We've just been struggling to keep a surplus. Being able to produce 124 per day is massive. With all of the additional funds, I will actually deploy additional troops. I will get another 4,000, I believe, in the area here of max morale troops. Yeah, regardless of the province tile that I'm in, which will be a huge boost. Is she deploying? Okay, yeah, sometimes it doesn't work. You gotta do it twice. But we're good here. Going back to Amarillo, we talked about Tatiana, but one of the reasons why I did want to capture this territory was, one, to kind of create a buffer. Again, I don't want anyone close to my core territory here, and this would help speed up some of the, or would help reduce the distance required to kind of shift troops between our main fortification here in the northwest and a lot of our main operations to the south. But I do want the morale boost from this, especially since a lot of these territories that we took, they've got poor morale, not really helping us in a lot of production. Like, yes, we were able to get at 35% outside of the revolt risk range, but we're really not producing much. As you can see here, 77% of our average morale. A lot of it comes from our core territories, and I would like to turn these into profitable provinces that will churn out infantry, will give us a lot of resources, and we're able to build out some good infrastructure in the area here. Now that the revolt risk has been suppressed, I believe I will go ahead and start building a lot of these recruiting offices. I made the mistake of building the offices a little too early, and as we were bogged down in a few of these operations, we lost a few of these territories, and with it, the recruiting offices unfortunately were destroyed. So it does cost a decent amount of resources, 250 and 250. We're in a position where we can afford that, but if you're a country like West Mexico here with the 2 double fish, he really doesn't have much to go off of. The railroads have finished in these 2 provinces, and we did start construction of the factories. This is going to give us a huge boost here, and then it'll open up some of these initial tier 1 units. And by initial tier 1 units, I think it's just the artillery. But that is going to be huge. And like we were kind of mentioning with Tatiana, even if the artillery can't do a significant amount of damage on their own, just being able to pepper your opponent and kind of make the status quo unfavorable for them, you can trigger a reaction the same way you can with an AI and have them come to you potentially in a more fortified position. You have armored cars, you get a better fight. These will be game-changing, especially if we're going to be one of the first few people to get some of these artilleries out. I hope. There could always be boosters, but we should be one of the first few.